In another world, in another time, what became of the DC Universe after the Justice League failed to stop Barbatos? Well, let's hop into the pages of Tales from the Dark Multiverse Metal and find out. Alrighty then, so these Tales from the Dark Multiverse one-shots really have come full circle now, a fact of which even Tempest Fugonaut, our Watcher stand-in, makes mention of here in this issue. For this story asks the question, what would happen if the events of Dark Knight's Metal had gone the other way? What if Batman truly did become the portal into the main universe for Barbatos the evil Bat God? The answer is nothing good at all. That world would fall, and indeed many other worlds throughout the Dark Multiverse would fall too, some of which Tempest Fugonaut was also watching himself. However, one hero managed to stay strong and resolute against the rising tides of darkness, a new Monitor with a very familiar face under the mask. Yes, that's right, it's Duke Thomas, everyone. And honestly, it's actually pretty fitting to make him the hero of this story. As you'll recall, back when Dark Knight's Metal originally started, it seemed like Duke was going to play a big part. That was the story wherein he first exhibited his light-based powers, but then Metal just kind of forgot about him as the story went on. Duke, as we discover, has been using his new Anti-Monitor armor to jump from Dark Anti-Earth to Dark Anti-Earth, looking for anything that would allow him to defeat Barbatos and save his world. Unfortunately, he's come up empty-handed just about every time, and now his world is looking like friggin' Mordor from Lord of the Rings, complete with some truly horrifying monster versions of the Justice League members. Yes, it would seem Joker Dragons was only the beginning of Barbatos' grand design, as Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, and the rest have all gotten truly horrifying makeovers like something out of Ray Harryhausen. Duke tries his best to fight, but he is ultimately overwhelmed by the insane power of these creatures. Luckily for him, he's not the only son of Batman still running around. Enter Dick Grayson, looking much like he did during his old Metal tie-in, but he's not alone. He has a secret weapon with him, and oh, you're gonna love this. It's called the Peril Axe, a guitar made from magical heavy metals as well as fragments of the emotional spectrum left behind by all the different Lantern Corps. Yes, that's right, it's a magical guitar which Dick can use to strum all the different chords that affect the multiverse. Man, you gotta love that all that stuff that Grant Morrison wrote is still so endearing. Duke thinks the Parallax is exactly what he's been looking for, and that if Nightwing can play a chord at a certain frequency at the right time, they may be able to blind Barbatos long enough for Duke to actually destroy the dragon. Dick is unsure. In fact, he's become quite grim, quite cold, and quite distant since the end of the world, and I mean, really, you can't blame him. His father figure and mentor ended up being the portal that let in the Dark God that destroyed everything, so yeah, he's a little niffed. Still, Duke is persistent if nothing else and decides to follow Nightwing all the way back to his base of operations, the former Justice League satellite. He's not alone either. He's living there with Hawkwoman and her monster husband Hawkman, who never got turned back to normal in this story. Then you got Detective Chimp, who, man, he has just been getting such a push the last couple of years in DC, hasn't he? He's been in positively everything, and one of the new things he's in right now is Red Tornado's robot body. There's also a Flash there too, but don't ask which one. No one is exactly 100% sure, as this speedster's body decayed and fell away a long time ago, and now it's literally just a super fast skeleton. Duke gives an impassioned speech that he hopes will ultimately remind these heroes of who they are and the good that they need to get done, and all of this is also showed through a rather interesting artistic device wherein Duke, using his light-based powers, can only actually see the good and the positive in the world that used to be, including the heroes who can't see the good in themselves anymore. How about that? Here's the rub though, if they're going to defeat the dragon, they're going to need to literally fight fire with fire and get a dragon of their own. Luckily, the heroes just so happen to know where one is being tied up at the moment, that being the original Joker dragon watched over by the Batman Who Laughs. Taking down this evil Batman won't be easy, especially as he's turned the entire Hall of Justice into his own private playground, the Ha of Justice. Isn't that a fun joke? Batman Who Laughs also just so happens to be making use of Zatanna's hand and Dr. Fate's helmet, meaning that he has extra magic muscle this time around. In the end, though, it's not actually any of the heroes that deliver the killing blow, it's the Joker Dragon itself taking some revenge on Batman Who Laughs for supplanting him as the #1 bad guy. And no, the irony isn't lost on Duke at all that he needs the help of the Joker, the person who destroyed his parents and his life back when all of this started. Surprisingly, the Joker Dragon is actually willing to help, mainly because it wants to get even with Barbatos for getting thrown away like he did. Now, how exactly are the heroes going to defeat all these supercharged monster versions of their old friends? Well, earlier on in the story, Duke said they could use the Justice League files to go all Tower of Babel and take down their friends that way, but ultimately it doesn't come to that, as one by one they all just sorta sacrifice themselves to destroy the monsters. Nightwing by far gets the coolest moment of all, though, taking down Monster Superman by playing a sick-ass riff on his Parallax with, yeah, you guessed it, a kryptonite pick. With the way officially clear now, Duke can use his monitor teleportation power to sneak inside Barbatos himself and steal away a very elderly Batman who is still being used to power the creature. Sadly, this means to save the world, though, what little of it is actually left, Duke is going to have to end Batman's suffering by stabbing him with one of the big giant fangs. This non-stop conga line of tragedy, as you may very well have guessed, changes Duke on a fundamental level, and he decides to take up the skin and fangs of the defeated Dark God and fashion a new costume. For Duke is no longer Duke, no longer Signal, no longer the Monitor, he is something brand new. Duke Thomas is the Final Knight, the great avenger of the Dark Multiverse. And who exactly is he taking revenge on? Oh, you're gonna positively love this. Tempest Fugonaut himself, for just sitting back and watching all this horrible stuff that kept befalling the Dark Universe and not doing anything about it. Wow, this story really did come full circle, didn't it? And so there you have it, everyone. Tales from the Dark Multiverse Metal issue #1, and overall I thought it was pretty enjoyable. It was perhaps not as creative as some of the other Dark Multiverse stories that we saw, but I do appreciate them actually telling a real honest what if for the events of Metal and not just using it as another jumping off point. I'm one of those few people who have never given up on Duke as a character, so I appreciate him actually getting a chance to lead here and be really awesome. Though perhaps if this story had any problem at all, it's that it has to come so close to the events of Death Metal, the sequel to Metal, and the fact that so many of these stories are dealing with a lot of the same ideas, and it just does not hit with the same impact. If I see another blighted hellscape DC Earth or an evil version of a classic hero, I think I'm gonna lose my friggin' mind. Overall, though, pretty solid for what it was, maybe one of the better ones of this second string of Dark Multiverse titles. Overall, I'd give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way, everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.